Now I want to update a particular record. Okay. For example, I'm giving the task to any non-technical people to update a particular record. ID number 3, I have to update. So what initially UI is required? What initially UI we required here to update a particular record? Yes, tell me. What is the initial UI we required to create here to update that particular record? Yes.
Getting the ID or title. After that, we need to update.
Okay, but you are explaining the functionality. What I asked that what is required to create a UI to update a particular record. If you are giving the task to your non-technical people, right now it displays this table. That non-technical people can I able to create or update that record right now?
No.
No, correct. So what the UI we required here?
Button.
We require a button. Okay, where we can mention the button?
Right side of the ID. Right
Okay.
side of the body.
Okay, right side on the ID, we can create a particular button to every record, correct?
Yes.
Then and then that end user or non-technical people will update that particular record. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
think always in that way. If your Angular application, you have to make it user friendly. So for the end user perspective, you also think that only Angular developer is not doing any functionality. Functionality, side by side functionality, you have to also create an attractive UI as well. Okay, but
Okay,
for that UI creation also, there is one more other team is present in company. I think your company is also present in one more UI developers, means for the creator button, CSS. The only that job of that UI developer to create a button. How we can create that button in the style of a button. All these are mentioned in that uh, according to that for that button. It is a job of UI developer. If you have any team, then they will be give your code directly. That code you can use it in your view file, and then you can make it your functionality. Okay. For time being, we have to create a button. So for that, in view file, here I can add one more column. First, we mention the column name as action, and we can add one more table data. In that, I want to use a button. So I use a button and mention that you can mention that button and make it a label as an edit. Okay. Then on edit, we can use event binding. Okay. On that event binding, use a click event, and that click event we can pass a method on edit. For on edit, I have to pass current row data. That current row data is present in your atom. So we can just send that atom. Now we can create that on edit method in your component file, and we can check whether our current row data will be accessible in our component file or not. Just we can use on edit. We can just here atom of type any. Okay, and just we can console it here for the cross-checking purpose whether I am getting that data or not. Atom. Okay, only this much part we first test it. So here inspect, here edit button is present in each record. When we click on edit, see here, your current raw data will be accessible in your component file, body, ID, title, user ID, all JSON object you can, full JSON object you can access of that particular record. If you're hit the ID number 5 button, okay, ID number 5, you will get that data, ID 5, whatever the body, title, user ID, whatever the data is there, you can access in your component file. Means here up to we access that item data. Now next task is when we click on edit button, okay, it will display the UI. Here itself, I want to display the UI. Okay. For that, I creating a UI. So come to your view file. Again here, I mentioned here HR, or inside that HR, I'm using only a div tag. Or inside the div tag, I mentioned the again label. I want to display the end user ID as well. So MBSP, I'm using the extra space to display properly. Okay. Then we use input because I want to display the ID as well. Yeah, I just mention here placeholder, enter the ID. Then also I did want to display the title, body, all these things. So I just want to copy this thing and mention here, instead of ID, mention the title, enter the title. Then one more, we required a body. Here we can mention the body as well. Okay, enter the body. Then next, required a update button, or we use a button update. On that update, we can use event pending. We use a click, or in can on update method. Okay, we can mention that on update. Now if we check that UI in looking, what the error? Okay, I'm not creating the update method on your component file, so it gives the error. Update. We can just first create that only blank method we have to create here initially, otherwise it gives an error. Okay, fine. Now ID, title, body, our UI is visible, but my requirement is that when we click on edit button, then and then only that UI will be displayed, because that UI initially it is displayed. I don't want to display initially that things. Okay, when I have to display that UI, when on click on is on that edit button, then your ID, title, body, or whatever the button is there, it will be displayed. So how we can achieve that functionality?
Component directive ng template.
We use ng template. Okay, you can use ng template as well. Another approach. Yes.
It hidden.
Correct. Make it as a hidden. Okay. For that hidden, we use a property binding. Okay. And mention a property is hidden. We have to create that is hidden property in your component file. Okay. First we create here is hidden, whose type is Boolean. Initially we make it as a true. So that true indicates that your data will not be visible. By default, hidden is a true. Hidden is a HTML attribute. We can make it as a dynamic property binding is hidden property. Okay. So here, see here right now, we don't display that UI, whatever we created. But When we click on edit button, after that I want to display. So what logic we have to return? When we click on edit button, it will be display. What to do then? Yes,
When click update button, we have to make this false.
not update, on edit. This dot is hidden is equal to false. Now see here, if we click on edit, now it is visible. It is displayed properly. ID, title, body. Okay. Now one more our functionality. Whatever the we click on, for example, we click on ID 5. I want to edit that record. When I click on edit button, I have to display that record here. Whatever the current record is there, I have to display here. Okay. For that, we use a two-way binding. Okay. For the two-way binding, we can use here in ID. We use a banana in the box notation and mention your ng model equal to we use we have to bind a property, for example ID. Same, we can use a ng model every input tag, that is a title and body. So for again we have to bind title property, then I have to bind a body as well. For that we use a body. Okay, so first ID, title, body, I have to create that property here in our component file. So first we create ID of type string. If you want to mention the type number, you can mention it. Okay, but whatever the data is sending your backend, it will be in the string format. So I mentioned that ID is a string format. Then we can mention the title string. Initially it is a blank, and then we can mention that body of type string, and we can mention it as a blank. Now this much part is enough to display our data. If I click on fourth edit, still it not be display the data. What to do then? Because we are using a ng model. So ng model is updated data. Your in input box, it should be displayed. What's the problem field inside that? We have to store that data on that particular property. For that we use this dot id is equal to atom dot id. Then this dot title is equal to atom dot title, and this dot body is equal to atom dot body. Now it is visible proper. See here, when we click on ID number 3, it will get the data. Okay, but I don't want to queue to change that ID to the end user, because if your end user click on that input box and it will be removed. Okay, it may be happen because that end user will not be a technical people, it is a non-technical, so he or she don't know. If you are removing ID, that it will be critical problem for backend developer as well. For that, we can make it that input box as a read only, means end user we cannot change that data. For we use a read only as attribute. It is provided by the HTML. Once you make it as a ID as a read only, means the data we cannot be delete. It only just read. Read only means only you can read. You cannot change that data. So if you create on ID number 4, if you are forcefully deleting, it will not be deleted. You can only read the data. You cannot delete that data. Okay, got these things, everybody?
Yes, Sumit.
Yes, Sumit.
Now, I want to send that data, ID, title, and body to your component file. So, then I want to send the data. So, can I pass the parameter for that on update method? Bye, Krishna, Kritika, Anand, Lokesh.
Yes, Sumit.
We have to pass that parameter for that on update method. Are you getting my question, everybody? Sagar,
Yes, Sumit.
Rutuja.
Yes, Sumit.
Yes, Sumit.
Okay. So tell me the on update method, I have to pass that ID, title, body. Yes or no?
No.
Omkar says no. What about others? Rutuja, Tulsidaran, Revnath.
Have to pass.
Yes.
We have to pass. Okay. Srivasan, what is your comment on that?
We need to pause it.
Sorry,
Yes, Sumit. You need.
We need to pause it.
we need to pass it. Okay, but we learn here NG model. What NG model does?
Two-way binding.
Yes, Amit. What NG model does?
Two-way binding.
Two-way binding. So what is meant by two-way binding? Correct. Two-way binding it is, but what exactly it is meaning of two-way binding?
Both view and
Two-way binding means you can
both
pass the
sides.
data and you
Yes.
can also render the data,
Yes.
because that we use a notation banana in the box notation. So whatever the end user will type here data, if you are change the title, and we can mention here title something different. So we no need to send that data on update method,
Yes. Sumit.
because we use a two-way binding. The two-way binding means the data is automatically updated in your property. That's why you bind that property to this ng model. That is our purpose. So don't necessary to send that ID, title, body to this on update method. Okay, that data automatically updated on your property. So only we can make it a JSON object in on update method. Okay, so on update method we can create a simple JSON object. Let obj is equal to, we create the object. For example, ID is a predefined key name. We can pass this dot ID because updated data in that property. So we can add it. Then title is our key. We can mention that this dot title. Then body is our again key. We can pass that this dot body. So we can create here JSON object. Now we can send that JSON object to your backend server. For that, we have to create a method in our service file. So simply we can use the digital service dot update data, and we can pass our object. First, we have to create that update data method in our service file. So we can here create update data. It receives object obj, and inside that, okay, I have to mention that type of that object. We mention that any, and here we can call HTTP method, that is the put method. So this dot HTTP dot put method. Again, that put method takes first argument as a URL, but that URL we have to modify. Why? Because I want to update a particular record. Through the URL, I have to send a ID of that particular record. Okay. So for that purpose, we have to modify that URL. So we use a backtick operator. Inside the backtick operator, we use a dollar curly bracket. That a backtick operator is a feature of our ECMAScript that we learn in our Typescript when we learn that Typescript. Inside that, we can mention your this dot URL. After that, we have to pass the ID of that particular record, or we can use it / and dollar curly bracket. You mentioned that obj.id, because in obj we have a ID, you can send it, and the second argument of that, it is a body, means which data you have to update. Send your full JSON object that is present in your obj object, and again it its return type is observable, so we can return here observable. Okay, now in component file we have to subscribe the method of that observable. In that subscribe, first argument is a factor function, we use a response. Okay, and inside that we just console that what exactly response we will receive, we just console it, and whatever the response is, we can display. Okay, now check in a console, in your console, if you have to update a particular for number ID number 3, I have to change the data. If I change Sumit Raukande, I mentioned the title as Sumit Raukande, and in the body that is a Angular 12 trainer. Okay, that data I have to update. So can I just I just update, click on update button, and now it will get the response. What the response? Your ID number 3, the title name is Sumit Raukande, and your body is Angular 12 trainer. Your data is updated. We send a put request, the backend is process your put request and give the response in that way. Clear these things? How we can use a put